welcome to the last episode of MPT for the year 2022. I don't know why that makes me like weirdly a little emotion, but it does. We've had such a great year. I can't even tell you how much fun I have had this year growing the podcast, interacting with you guys, doing the deep dives. It honestly is like one of my favorite parts of what I do. And I know that I do a million different things, so it's hard to keep track with them all. But truly, I love this podcast so much. And I just, something about the end of the year heading into 2023, I just feel so grateful that you all tune in every week. Oh, it makes me so emotional. Last episode before I go to South Africa. Oh my gosh. I'm also PMSing, so that could be why. But wow, I just feel so like I don't want to say motivated because I'm not motivated to do anything right now. It's the week between Christmas and New Year's, but I think energized would be the word. I'm excited to end the year strong. I have a great episode for you today. I'm excited to meet the in-laws. I'm excited for you guys to come on that journey with me. I leave on Monday. Holy mackerel. I'm so nervous. Okay, anyways, what we're going to do today, because, the last 2 weeks of the year in pop culture news is always so slow. Don't worry. We're going to talk about that Kim interview, and I'll start with that because I don't want to leave you guys hanging. But we're going to go through the year and talk about the biggest stories. I've been doing that on my Instagram for the past couple of days, but it was more of just an overview. So I'm going to really like dig a little bit deeper into what I consider the biggest story of each month, take a little trip down memory lane. But first, let's start with this Kim Kardashian interview with Angie Martinez because I have some thoughts. I've been sitting on it. Let me say that there were pros and cons to this interview, and I'm going to be fair and I'm going to highlight the good things that Kim did, and I'm going to be judgmental isn't the word, critical of some of the things that she did. I really like Angie Martinez. I feel like somebody said this on Instagram and I can't remember who, but Angie isn't sitting there trying to be Kim Kardashian's BFF like a lot of other people who interview her do that. And that's no shade. If I was interviewing Kim Kardashian, I would probably do the same thing. But Angie really like gets Kim to be vulnerable in this podcast episode. So let's start with the positives that I took away from it. I will say, I've said it before. I don't know that I would be able to be married to Kanye West, to co-parent with Kanye West. I feel like a lot of us probably would not be able to do that. I remember whenever he was running for president in 2016, we tried to like kind of forget that, but I remember thinking Kim should have been done in this moment whenever he was talking about the fact that they almost had an abortion with North. And I was like, if my husband did that, oh my word. And, a lot of people make the argument that Kanye is not mentally well. And we did a deep dive about this on one of the episodes, like what is the line between mental health and abuse? And is there a line and how do you navigate that? If you're in a relationship with somebody like a Kanye, you'll have to go back and find that because we do not have time to get into it today. I think she is strong though. And I think that she's a good mom and she wants to do what's best for her kids. I agree with her when she says that her family couldn't handle the stuff that she's been through. Did we forget that she was robbed at gunpoint? Like that is so traumatic. And she has said it before. And I believe her when she says if that would have happened to any other family member, they would not be able to make it through that. She also says that she's afraid that her future boyfriends will be afraid to date her because of Kanye, which made me instantly come to the realization that maybe Pete was scared of Kanye. We always like speculated on whether or not it got to Pete. He made a bunch of jokes about it. They had that whole text exchange in February that was put out on the internet. But her saying like, are they going to be afraid of my, ex kind of makes me think, oh, maybe Pete was a little Like, I don't want to be involved, and maybe that is why they broke up. So obviously, those are the things that we can commend Kimmy on. I think she is strong, you guys. She is a strong woman. But we're going to talk about what she said about the Balenciaga debacle, because this, again, to me, as somebody who watched Kardashians for so long, followed them for so long, just honestly, I was like, does she think that we're stupid? It really angered me. Okay, so she even starts talking like in a different tone, and I'm not gonna like mimic her because I don't want to mock her, but you all know what I'm talking about. She starts talking in this more like whiny tone, and she's saying, people are saying, why aren't you speaking out? And I'm like, what? Wait, what? I want to take a minute to research. It's like, no, it didn't take you a minute to research, Kim. It took you 6 days to say something. And she's like, oh, I want to take a minute to research. Kim, do you remember on episodes of The Kardashians when you told us that you hacked into your boyfriend's voicemail from your phone because that's how good you are at finding things out? But it took you 6 days to see what the rest of us saw on the internet. Like, it just makes no sense. So she said, I did speak out and denounced it, but because I didn't say, bleep you, Balenciaga, that's it, people got mad. I don't think that's why people got mad. I think the real reason that people got upset with Kim in this moment, including myself, is because it revealed her intentions. I mean, we know that the Kardashians are materialistic, but I feel like this took it to a whole other level where she doesn't want to let go of that relationship. Why? Because it's glitz and glamour and high fashion and whatever. I understand that it probably is hard to separate yourself from brands, people in that brand that have helped you in your come up. You know what I mean? Like, Kim has said on the show a bunch that whenever she was no longer with Kanye, she was trying to find her sense of style, and that Balenciaga helped her and Demna helped her. But in this situation, it seemed that Kim made the decision that her relationship with Balenciaga and potentially the people behind the scenes was more important than doing what is right. And I've said it 100 times. I'm not here for cancel culture, but until this brand makes some serious in-house changes, this is what this brand is now going to be known for. And I have a hard time trying to understand why Kim would choose to continue to be associated with it. And I think we all know why. There's one answer. I'm not going to say it. You can figure it out yourself. And then she says, well, some people say I'm the face of the brand. And this is where I'm like, do you think that we're stupid? Because maybe if it wasn't plastered all over your Instagram, your show, in yellow duct tape all over your body, maybe if they didn't dress you for Saturday Night Live, the Met Gala, we wouldn't say you're the face of Balenciaga. But you do those things. So are we supposed to have selective memory? And she's like, oh, she's not the face. She only talks about it in every episode of The Kardashians. She only wears it down every red carpet. Whose fault is that? Is that our fault for thinking that you're the face of Balenciaga when you're wrapped in Balenciaga duct tape? I'm sorry. It's like honestly absurd. It's absurd. So that's my thought on that. I'm still like in my off the Kardashians phase. I'm just not vibing with any of them at the moment. Like, they're annoying me. I go through phases though like this. It's never particularly been this bad. The only one I'm vibing with right now is Kourtney, because I also don't think she's vibing with any of her family at the moment either. My prediction for 2023 is that Kourtney's going to move to Tennessee with Travis. They've been like kind of hinting at it on social media, and Kourtney's been done with the show for a long time. She doesn't want to film. She's like, whatever, I don't want to be here. Really, I feel like the only reason she agreed to even film was because she was like much happier with Travis. But, the longer life goes on, the honeymoon phase starts to wear off, and she's probably not going to want the cameras around. So I think 2023 is going to be the year that Kourtney moves to Tennessee with Travis and lives a more low-key lifestyle. So there you have it. Okay, let's get into, this is going to be fun, the biggest stories of the year starting in January. There are two that I think rival for the top spot. One being Jamie Lynn Spears releasing her book, Jamie Lynn Spears going on Call Her Daddy, releasing text messages from Britney, and literally all hell broke loose. Britney, when I was doing the research, it seems like she just got out of her conservatorship, but she got out of her conservatorship in November of 2021. So it's been over a year. And so she's finally getting her freedom back. And then we have Jamie Lynn release a book, like Things I Should Have Said. And I can't remember what the book was supposed to be titled, but there was like a working title. And it was Britney Spears lyrics or something. Oh my gosh. And that was like the beginning of the public feud between Jamie Lynn and Britney. And that interview with Alex Cooper was crazy. That rivals Tristan Thompson admitting via Instagram story that he cheated on Khloe and was having a baby with Marley Nichols. That was our first proper, like, breaking news, black screen, white text. I am the father, as Mari would say, was giving that vibe. And then the next slide is like, Khloe, I'm so sorry. I never meant to do this to you. It is interesting because at that point, we didn't really know that Khloe and Tristan were still together, right? They were in this like secret relationship. Were they engaged? Were they not engaged? It's just a whole mess. I honestly still don't know the timeline. It's very confusing. But at this point, we didn't know that Khloe was expecting another baby with Tristan. So when you look back on that moment, oh my gosh, wow, crazy. In February, in my opinion, the biggest story in reality TV and pop culture was the biggest love triangle between Kristen Cavallari, Craig Conover, and Paige DeSorbo. I mean, we knew Kristen was the GOAT, but who knew like 20 years later, she would still be sneaking her way onto reality TV shows that she wasn't even on and being the center of attention. You know what I mean? Like the power that Kristen Cavallari has over us is like, wow. And I remember Paige saying something along the lines of like, she probably was jealous. So that's not the quote, but she was like, I can't compete with that. Like, I want to meet her. I'm her biggest fan. I would be the same exact way. I know a lot of you guys are asking if Craig and Paige are broken up. Everything that I've seen, they're still together. People have been like tagging them in fan interactions. They traveled together last week. She apparently talks about him a bunch on Giggly Squad, but they're just not posting each other as much, which I still think is a little sus. And if there's one thing I learned working in the biz, where there's smoke, there's fire. But to each their own. In March, this is just my personal biggest story because I know that there are other things that went on, like Clayton imploded on The Bachelor. Pete branded himself with Kim's name. But in my opinion, the top story in March, Katie Maloney and Tom Schwartz revealed they were getting a divorce. I'm so naive. I could watch 10 years of the toxic relationship between Katie Maloney and Tom Schwartz and still be like, they're going to make it forever. They're going to be together forever. They're going to have kids. They're going to have little Butter and Gordo running around in their new now mansion. So naive. I just always want the best for people. And I just ignore every red flag. I did the same thing for Kristen Cavallari and Jay Cutler, who literally on the show, it seems like they hated each other the whole entire time. And then they announced their divorce. And I was like, what? What? True love doesn't exist. Like, no, girl. Toxic relationships exist, and they should probably get the heck out of Dodge. I also don't know why I said that phrase because I think it's from like the 1950s, but anyways, we're gearing up for Vanderpump to come back in February. Listen to this. My birthday is February 9th. That week, we're getting the premiere of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, the premiere of Summer House, and the premiere of Vanderpump Rules, all on my birthday week. It's like God was looking down on me and he's like, Morgan, I know you're a little stressed about turning 30. This is the universe in its way of telling you that it's going to be all right as long as you keep spending 85% of your life watching reality TV. And I'm like, God, I'll do it. I'll do it. I know it's my calling. Okay, anyways. April. April was a big one too. The whole Kravis Las Vegas moment where we're like, are they married? Are they not married? J-Lo and Ben got re-engaged after 20 years. But for me, what takes the cake in April, Olivia Wilde served custody papers while on stage promoting Don't Worry, Darling at CinemaCon. If we would have known then what we know now about Olivia Wilde and the Don't Worry, Darling saga, the absolute saga that was that movie. And I feel bad for her because Don't Worry, Darling was a good movie, but the drama surrounding it was better. They should have just done a documentary. They should have done a reality show. Everything going on between Harry and Florence, between Florence and Shia, between Shia and Olivia, between Olivia and Harry. Where was the production team? Why wouldn't just turn the cameras, brothers, and capture the real drama? I remember we were all debating, did Jason Sudeikis do this on purpose? Did he serve Olivia Wilde custody papers at CinemaCon on purpose? And Olivia Wilde was like, yeah, he did. He knew where I was going to be. I don't know. I've never served custody papers. I've never been served custody papers. But I heard that it's like right place, right time situation where it's like, if they can catch you, they're going to get you. They don't care where you are. Clearly, they don't care. The image of her on stage in that fabulous blue suit with the manila envelope that just says confidential. I mean, iconic, absolutely iconic. In May, Christine Quinn dropped bombs on the Call Her Daddy podcast. And you know, we were always wondering what the deal was with Christine Quinn. Was she coming back to Selling Sunset? It seems like everybody on the show hated her. The month before in April, she skipped the reunion. Remember, she tested positive for COVID. And then 3 days later, she was like seen out with Melissa Gorga filming some type of commercial or something. So this is like when we saw the writing on the wall, right? That Christine was done on Selling Sunset because she goes on Call Her Daddy with Alex Cooper. And she's basically saying that Adam DeVillo, the creator of the show, was abusive towards her, made everything up, kept all the women separated, edited her in an unfair way, you know, mixed stuff together to make it appear one way when it really happened another way. And look, I know everybody wants to hate on Christine. It's easy to hate a villain. But at the end of the day, we did a deep dive on this too. You can go back. Adam DeVillo also created The Hills and Laguna Beach. And you have Stephen and Kristen, who ironically in the month of May also did their Back to the Beach podcast, y'all. You know, 20 years later now getting on podcast saying, yeah, it was all fake. And we're now not supposed to believe that Christine is telling the truth. Like, I definitely think it's fake. If it's not fake, it's at least exaggerated. But I mean, look, you even have like Spencer on his TikTok constantly calling out, you know, storylines in The Hills and Laguna Beach that were completely inaccurate. Do I think Christine Quinn played up her villain role? Absolutely. I'm really curious what's going to happen now that she's no longer on the show. She quits later in the year, but let's go to June. June had some big legal battles. Johnny Depp won his defamation trial against Amber Heard. The Chrisleys were found guilty of bank fraud and tax evasion. That was a great deep dive. This episode is just one promotion for my deep dives, but if you missed the Chrisley deep dive, it's really good. But in my opinion, the biggest story in June was that Britney Spears and Sam Asghari got married. Because, and obviously now that has a whole nother can of worms that we got in last week on Deep Dive. Listen, this is just proving that I'm doing hard work for you guys and all the biggest stories we have dug into, because now you have people thinking that Sam is in on the conservatorship, that he was like a plant by dad, Jamie, to continue to control Britney just in a different way. You have Sam posting photos and videos of Britney this week because, you know, last week everybody thought Britney Spears was dead. I mean, it's harsh, but it's the truth. You had Perez Hilton, like, with the flashing lights, the warning lights, like, I can't tell you, but pray for Britney. It's like, Perez, shut up. Okay, anyways, I'm on one for this last podcast of the year. But you know what's interesting? And I'm going to try to pull it up right now if I can. But I think Sam knew what people were saying about them online because he pinned the post. Yep, 3 days ago. A little hike and a little meditation on Christmas Day goes a long way. My wife is really becoming a meditation guru, and I love it. Merry Britmas to you all from Samta and Brittany. And then it's like these videos of them on a mountain kissing and stuff. But he made sure to pin that ish because he's like, look, she's not dead, and y'all aren't going to blame me for her murder. Okay, anyways, when Britney Spears got married, though, iconic. Paris Hilton, Selena Gomez, Drew Barrymore. Oh my God, do you remember who tried to break in? Jason Alexander tried to break in. He did break into her house on her wedding day. Oh my gosh. After all she's been through, she does need to be a meditation guru. And I hope 2023 we see Britney just frolicking about her life. In July is when news broke that Khloe was having another baby with Tristan via surrogate. So it took us 6 months to be able to put the pieces of the puzzle together. Where it was like, let's think back to January. What the heck was Tristan Thompson talking about when he was like, Khloe, I'm so sorry. Like, were you guys together? Well, yeah, and they were expecting a child via surrogate. I remember being absolutely shell-shocked when this happened. And then after 20 minutes, like, oh, that makes sense. You know, like Khloe wanted another baby. She wanted True to have the same dad. She's like, what, 36, maybe? I'm not saying the age really matters, but sometimes, like, biologically it does. But she had a surrogate, so I guess it kind of doesn't. But she wanted him maybe to be close in age. I remember, like, wow, when I first saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, Khloe, what are you thinking? But the more you think about it, it's like she's already got one kid with him. Might as well, like, platonically have another. I mean, obviously it wasn't platonic at the time, but here's to hoping in 2023 we'll actually know the name of the child. We got a little picture of him from the Christmas party. Let's talk about the Christmas party for a second. Did you see the group photo of all the Kardashian Jenner ladies, and they're each looking a different direction? Y'all, they hate each other. They don't even take family photos together. They're constantly photoshopping each other in. It's like True's looking to the left, Kendall's looking up in space, Kourtney looks like she hates her life and does not want to be there. Kim is like deadpanning the camera because she knows how to do it. Kris is basically a floating head. Like, what is going on? What is going on? Bennifer also got married in July, so that was a pretty big deal. August was a doozy. I could not pick two of the biggest stories because we had the Friday night media dump. I remember it as clear as day. I was sitting at dinner with David. I had just ordered some chicken lettuce wraps, and they get to the table, and I open my phone for a second, trying to enjoy a date night with my fiance, and I see Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson split. And I was like, I knew it. Keith. Rip Keith. Oh, you guys remember Keith? Oh, those were such good times. I've said it a million times. I hated Kim and Pete together because it just felt fake. It felt phony. It felt forced. I feel like Pete Davidson hates everything that Kim Kardashian stands for. You know, there was like this one clip of them that came out more recently where they're in the car and Kim is like, oh yeah, I wanted this to be our first red carpet together. And Pete was like, I wanted us to get slimed. And I'm like, that's it. That is the perfect example of why I thought these two should never be together. And I know people are like, well, opposites attract to an extent, but not for Keith. Not even an hour later, Khloe welcomed her second baby via surrogate. I was so happy at dinner. We were cheersing. Cheers, cheers. It's so messed up. And then I get home, getting ready to go to bed, open my phone again. What do you know? Dun, 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 dun. You know, that's my breaking news. Baby here in the world. And then on the opposite side of the coin here, we had two Love is Blind divorces in the month of August, Ayana and Jarrett. And then a week later, Nick and Danielle, which makes absolutely no sense because after the divorces, After the Altar came out and everybody was still together, happy-go-lucky, living their best life. And nope, they actually weren't. Ayana and Jarrett, they were real. And After the Altar, Nick and Danielle, like I said, I know I'm naive, but I was like, oh yeah, they're doing great. People are like, Morgan, there were red flags all over the place. I'm like, I'm sorry. I just believe people when they say stuff. Maybe I shouldn't. In September, we have the Adam Levine DM scandal where he asked his side chick if he could name him and his wife's son after her. Sumner Stroh. What's she up to these days, I wonder? I heard she was getting a reality show. I don't know if that happened. You know, she will capitalize on it. Let's see what I'm looking her up because I'm very, she's got like 500,000 followers. All of her videos still getting 3.1, 2.2 million. It's like a lot of thirst traps. Look, I commend these ladies that know how to be the thirst traps, that can get it, that are confident. It can never be me. Oh my gosh. I just don't know how to like be sexy. I don't even like saying it. Okay. Anyways, tied with the Adam Levine DM scandal, Spitgate. Spitgate. Did Harry Styles spit on Chris Pine at the Venice Film Festival? I know America is divided right now, but we were one. We were one nation under God when we were trying to figure out if Chris Pine spit on Harry Styles at the Venice Film Festival. The constant online chatter about Olivia Wilde, Harry Styles, Florence Pugh, Shia LaBeouf. I remember too, like, man, Olivia Wilde did this interview. I think it was on the Tonight Show or something. And the host asked about Spitgate. And she was like, people just love to create drama. And I'm like, Olivia, please read the room. Who's creating the drama, Olivia? Who? You and your salad dressing and your boyfriend, Harry, that maybe spit on Chris Pine. Coming into October, we had the bombshell that was the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills finale. Let me tell you, Kyle and Garcelle's dinner table conversation was one of the best scenes I have seen in years. Years. They're sitting at the table. They're like, Garcelle's like, they're plotting against you. The wheels are turning in Kyle Richards' brain. She's like, oh my God, Garcelle, you're right. They are plotting against me. They're trying to bring me and my sister down. And then we get the confrontation in the room where Kyle's like, I heard, Erica, that your publicist was leaking things to the press. And Erica's like, I don't know. And Lisa Rinna's like, who's leaking to the press? Who's leaking stuff to the press? I was leaking anything to the press. Who's leaking stuff to the press? And Kyle's like, whoa. It was such a great finale. And let me tell you, I feel like the reunion didn't really live up to the hype. I mean, it was great. The last part was great between Kyle and Kathy and Lisa and Erica. I heard Lisa's coming back. I heard Erica's coming back. Kyle's coming back. Kathy, question mark. But wow. October, the ladies of Beverly Hills had us absolutely gripped. BravoCon was also in October. Oh. And Erica said that PK and Dorit would be the next to split up. That was fun. Okay, coming into November, getting down to the nitty gritty. Love is Blind season 3 dropped on Netflix. Cutiegate. And I feel like this one is still too close to home because like we literally spent the entire month of November dissecting Zanab's relationship with Cole and Cutiegate. And let me tell you, every time that I say something to David, like we're getting ready to eat dinner, I'm like, oh my God. Am I food shaming? Am I being a bad fiance? It really has triggered me in a level that I was not prepared for. I saw that Cole did an interview on Not Skinny But Not Fat saying that he and Zaneb had discussed and agreed that they were both going to say no. So Cole also wasn't going to say yes at the altar, but he didn't know that Zaneb was going to pop off the way that she did. And then, I mean, all the Love is Blind aftermath ensued. The SK cheating scandal, I'm not ready to talk about that. All the stuff that's going on with Matt and Colleen actually seem pretty happy. Brendan and Alexa kind of going through a tough situation right now. I'm trying not to talk about it because I feel bad. Anyways, December, the last month of the year, it was all about Harry and Meghan, right? I also looked up when doing this. I was like, when did Harry and Meghan do their sit-down interview with Oprah? And that was in 2021 too. I'm like, this stuff feels like it happened yesterday. I remember getting my big tub of popcorn. I remember sitting down and Oprah, were you silent or were you silenced? Iconic moment. And then obviously this 6-part series drops on Netflix. Like I said in previous episodes in the month of December, I feel for Harry and Meghan, if they want to live a normal life, they should be able to live a normal life. I think they want royal life mixed with Hollywood life. And in England, they weren't getting that. So they decided to move to California. I would absolutely love, the dramatic in me would love a Kate and William Oprah moment. Wouldn't that just, it would be so good just to hear the other side of the story. Not saying that I would, lean more towards one or the other. Who knows? I would just love to hear Kate Williams' side of the story because I love tea. I don't want to end the episode because I don't want to stop talking to you because I love it. Seriously, guys, the podcast is one of my favorite parts of my life. And just thank you so much for spending the year with me. 2023 is going to be even better. We're going to get Bravo Leopardies. We're going to get Love is Blinders. I don't know if that's like how the plural form of that or whatever. We're going to get Bachelor Nation members. We're going to do the daggone thing in the year 2023. And I can't wait for you to join me. I won't talk to you until I'm back from South Africa. I'm so excited. The next episode won't be until mid-January. So you guys have a great new year. Have a fantastic start to your 2023. If you want, I'm doing a Bachelor Brain Dump on Friday. We're also going to recap some of the biggest Bachelor stories that happened this year. So that's on the Patreon at Morgan's Pop Talks. We did a deep dive on Heather Gay's Black Eye on Monday. So make sure you subscribe to that. I'll see you in 2023. Love ya like a freaking sis. Goodbye.